From the national newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo. The stage is set for U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's return to the White House today as the 47th president.
Trump is preparing to take more than 200 executive actions on his first day back in office. Trump at a rally in Washington last night.
I will act with historic speed and strength and fix every single crisis facing our country. We have to do it.
Number one on his to-do list, immigration. Trump is expected to declare a national emergency on the U.S.-Mexico border, order troops to build more infrastructure along the border, and relaunch his Remain in Mexico policy for migrants. Perry Russum, ABC News, Washington.
Canadians will be anxiously watching Donald Trump's return to the White House to see if the Republican leader follows through on his threat to slap a hefty across-the-board tariff on all Canadian imports. Here's Canadian Press reporter Kelly Malone in Washington.
Bright red hats and toques with Trump scrawled across the front descended on Washington ahead of the Republican leader's unprecedented return to office as the 47th president. Donald Trump's team has reportedly prepared more than 100 executive orders, but it's unclear what's in the package and how many will be signed immediately. Canada's ambassador to the U.S., Kirsten Hillman, has been cautioning U.S. news stations that Canada is ready to respond to any tariff threat. Many Canadian politicians have also traveled to Washington, including Team Canada's co-leads and Alberta Premier Danielle Smith.
Danielle Smith is among the ticketed guests who will no longer be attending the inauguration in person. The Alberta Premier's office says she will instead attend an event at the Canadian Embassy. As the inauguration and parties are going on in Washington, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's cabinet will gather in Montebello, Quebec for a 2-day retreat to discuss a possible trade war brewing with our nation's closest ally.
Cabinet ministers are gathering for 2 days of meetings as they wait to see whether the incoming president makes good on his pledge to impose a 25% tariff. Several of the ministers are fresh off trips to Washington where they tried to make the case to key Republican contacts that a trade war will be bad for both countries. Sarah Ritchie, The Canadian Press, Ottawa.
More legal arguments are expected this week in the sexual assault case of 5 former members of Canada's World Junior Hockey team as they prepare to face trial in London, Ontario this spring. The 5 were charged with sexual assault early last year in an incident that allegedly took place against a woman at a London hotel in 2018 after a gala event for our gold medal winning team. Dozens of people across 5 provinces have fallen ill to a salmonella outbreak linked to some recalled mini pastries. The Public Health Agency of Canada says the sweet cream brand Mini Patisserie have been distributed at bakeries, hotels, restaurants, cafeterias, hospitals, and retirement residences. It says 61 cases of illness have been confirmed. 17 have been hospitalized. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, the NFL playoffs are heading to the last round before the Super Bowl. Josh Allen rushed for 2 touchdowns. Buffalo's defense forced 3 turnovers, and the Bills advanced to the AFC Championship game with a 27-25 win over the Baltimore Ravens. The Bills will next face the 2-time defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. The Philadelphia Eagles punched their ticket to the NFC Championship game with a 28-22 win over the Los Angeles Rams. Saquon Barkley dashed through the snow for long touchdown runs. The Eagles will play Washington next Sunday. It was a light Sunday in the NHL with just 3 games. Ottawa beat the host New Jersey Devils 2-1, while in Montreal, Patrick Laine scored in overtime as the Canadiens edged the visiting Rangers 5-4. Dallas beat Detroit 4-1. And in basketball, Canadian Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had 27 points and 10 assists in 3 quarters as his Oklahoma City Thunder beat the Brooklyn Nets 127-101. From the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.